Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am Jeff Blankenburg, and as we do here every Tuesday, I'm here to answer your pressing questions about Alexa development, what is going on with Alexa Live. We'll get into that. New devices, development questions, voice modeling questions, whatever you've got, I'm here to do my best to answer your questions. So with that, hello, Traylast. Hello, Atul Raj. Hello, Fabio. Welcome, everybody. It's good to have you here. Let's see if we can mix this up a little bit. No, it's going to be too small. That's going to be too small. I was thinking about, I have a teleprompter and I can throw things up on that, but I think that's going to be a little too small for me. So the first question I got from Traylast, are there any markdown or markup options for the skill description in the skill store? It'd be nice to have some basic formatting besides \n. Yeah, I agree with you. That would be super nice. No, I don't believe that there are any markdown options, although, man, that would be fantastic. I'm going to take that as my first comment of the day to add to my list. I'm getting more aggressive with our product team, the folks that are responsible for deciding, like the things that get launched at Alexa Live. I have a lot of fantastic feedback that I continue to aggregate because of all of you, all the great things that you share with me here or privately. This is a good one. Markdown for the skill description. That seems like it should be a pretty doable thing. Again, lots and lots of competing priorities, all sorts of things going on inside Amazon. So I certainly am not here to make any promises, but I like that one. I like it a lot. So we'll see what we can do about that. Detria says, good evening. While deploying the skill using the CLI, I got the following output. I'm waiting to see that output. We'll see when that comes through. Hello to Oxygen Box and Gavin Watson. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. That's another thing I have to figure out with this teleprompter, which is this box here. I need to tilt this camera a little bit. Office is a disaster right now. I've been running like crazy for what seems like weeks, months. And there's just continue, like you can see there's like a Deadpool mask down here. And this is actually just a giant pile of things that I need to find a place for. To be honest, my whole office is becoming that, but we're going to get better about it. We're going to get to a point where this office is clean, and if I have my way, it's going to be by this weekend. We'll see if we can actually make that happen. While I'm waiting for Detria's output, and any other questions that you guys may want to ask, feel free to ask them in the chat. I can see all of them here. I'll show you guys something else I got. So a while back, you guys may have noticed I've had these toys behind me for quite a while. I'm rethinking this wall. It will still include the toys. But I got a new one, and I got to figure out where it's going to go. You guys may or may not be familiar with this band, but they started doing these like album cover boxes. This is like a hard shell box with the cardboard on the outside. And then they take like an album cover and drop a character in there. And it even has little holes to like mount on your wall right there and there. So I'm gonna have to find a place for this one. And then there's a few other ones that I think I may have to get. But as we go through that, it's making me rethink this wall a little bit. I think one of the things that I want to do is take this shelf and go all the way to the corner. Gives me more room to put some of those figures up, but also gives me a longer band. I'm only using these lights. Alexa, start the office nonsense. Just realized that's not happening. Alexa, start the office nonsense. Did that fix it? Yeah, now both of them are animating. So to try, I'll get to your question in 1 second. You can see now they're both animated, but I'm only using 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3. I'm using 5 pieces, but they come with 6 pieces. So I thought maybe I could make the shelf a little bit longer this direction and add the 6th piece to each of them. And then hopefully I can track down at some point another one, because I would love a 3rd one. There's here, if I tilt, you can see there's another shelf up above. I would love to have a 3rd one there, but that all comes with time. Anyway, so Detria, here, I'll show you guys what he's getting as an error. Maybe somebody else knows too. So he's getting an error when he's trying to use the CLI when deploying. So I'm guessing he's doing an ask deploy. He got the following output saying ask resources.json does not exist. If this is skill managed by a V1 SCLI, please run ask. Okay, so my first question to try it is, are you using the V1 ask CLI? Question 2 is, have you tried the recommendation, which is run the ask util upgrade project command? And then 3, I kind of feel like, yeah, I guess you could have everything in there, but let me just show you what a project, a V2 project looks like. Open folder. Let's see if I can find a project. So let me share my screen here. Share screen. This one. Infinite Jeffs. Okay, so if I bring the thing I want to show, which is this, up, if you look at my folder, you can see that there is this Ask Resources JSON folder. This lives in the root of the project, so even if I close all of these folders, you can see that I have Ask Resources, I have package.json, which is all of my npm package references, all that kind of stuff, right? All the setup for my node project. And then I have Ask Resources that looks like this. So to try it, my guess is you need one of these to get everything set up. This tells it where your skill packages are, where your code is, what operating system you're running on, what version of node, what your starting file is, what regions it's going to deploy to, like all of that stuff. So you need this file. If you don't have it, I would recommend running that command. But this should be a relatively simple fix for you, I think. Let's see if I can go back to my file that I just had open. It's neither of those. Goodness. Okay. Open file. Documents. No. I want OneDrive and then Amazon and then documents, office hours, and then today. There we go. Okay. So we can even leave my screen up like that. Let's see if I can. Let's do this. We're going to try stop sharing. We're going to start sharing again. And I'm going to choose just the VS Code window. There we go. And then I can go half and half. And I can still see what's going on. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay. So you, let's see. Steve Nelson also, to try, Steve says, if you do ask deploy from the wrong folder, that could also do it. Because I do notice that you're getting the error. You're getting your error, which I have here, saying that it's on your D drive in Travel Today main. It feels like you should be in Travel Today main when you say ask deploy. So is it possible that you're running the ask deploy command from the wrong folder too? All just questions. These are like, there's a little bit of debugging here. So anyway. Katie, I'm glad you like the lighting. I plan on doing more with it, but it's it definitely has a nice effect. What I wanted to do, I saw so many streamers that were spending a lot of their time with green screens and like special effects and stuff like that. And I wanted more practical effects. I was always inspired by how the folks at Star Wars did things like BB-8 in a way that was real. Like it was a real BB-8 rolling around and moving, and they figured out practical ways to do that stuff. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to do practical effects here. So there's no green screening, although I do still have ideas on how to change that board out to be something more dynamic, just by like putting a screen there instead. Okay, let's see. So to try, I don't know that I'm going to be able to help you more, but I would recommend either you could open an issue with the Contact Us form, which you can find at alexa.design/contact us, or you could try sending me an email, which I have right here on the screen. You can see it here in this box. So if you want to send me an email, we can try and play with it. If you want to zip up your project, I can try to take a look at it, but my time is really tight right now, so I don't want to make any promises for you. But if you fill out that Contact Us form, I think they can probably help you with that. Hey, Witters, are you still getting crackliness on my microphone? I don't feel like I have a sore throat or that I sound weird. So always curious to know that. All right, nothing else here that I'm seeing. Colin Munford says, hi, can an utterance contain slots for dynamic entities and also built-ins, like date-time slots? In my tests, utterances with both don't seem to populate dynamic slots if the request provides all. My audio is really jacked up, huh? Let me see. I don't know why that would be. Check, check, check. It looks like everything's working. Can you guys hear the magical tones? Yeah, let's try this. If I go back. Can you guys hear this? I don't know what could be the problem, but I apologize that I'm getting crackliness. That's the problem with running a studio all by myself. Yeah, I think the screen sharing is actually an issue. I think that my machine doesn't like that. So let's stop that and see if that gets any better. I can also turn that comment off. Let's see if the audio gets any better there. I don't know if maybe I'm overwhelming my USB hub or what the issue is. Better, okay. Okay, so the audio is coming through the soundboard. That's good. Yeah, it's weird how screen sharing here on StreamYard really just yanks things up. I had a time where if I tried to share my screen, all of a sudden my camera would stop responding. So I don't know if I'm just trying to push too much through USB. I have several USB ports active on the machine. Obviously, this is a big, beefy machine. But I also have a USB hub, a powered USB hub that's should be capable of handling the output of these things, and it's just not working. All right, I want to make sure I get back to this. Can an utterance contain slots for dynamic entities and also built-in like date-time slots? Yes. In my test, utterance with both don't seem to populate dynamic slots if the request provides all. Colin, can you send me a sample? The easiest way to do it, honestly, if you've used a gist in GitHub, this would be the best way to kind of show me what your JSON looks like or whatever. If you guys aren't familiar with GitHub gists, it's gist.github.com. Share my screen again, even though the sound gets all crackly. So if I do share screen, do this, and we go here. So this is gist.github.com, and you can literally just post your code in here. You get a description. You can create it in secret or in public. It doesn't really matter because it's not terribly useful to most people. But then you can share a link to that and let other people see and potentially even edit the code. So something to think about. If you want to send me a link to that, send it in my email, unless you want everybody to see it, and that's fine too. But if you just want to send me an email, I'll take a look and see what you're doing, and maybe I can even try and replicate it. All right, no more screen sharing. All right. Yeah, that's crazy that Crackle's coming through like that. I'll have to play a little while. Under Second says, how long does it take for an Alexa comment to show up in the Alexa skill store? My skill just got published and someone entered a comment yesterday, but it still didn't show up today. I don't know that there's a specific amount of publish time, but it feels like, right, as developers, we think, well, the data's there. It should just be there and live. Maybe there's a reason that they delay it. Giving a person an opportunity to change their mind or whatever. I don't know the policy or how long a comment takes to show up, but I will copy this and add it to my list of things that I should know. We'll do that. Okay. Have that on my list, and let's do some word wrap on this file so I can actually read it. Lovely. Okay, back to the convo. Alex wants me to enable and start my skill Screensaver. Yeah, I can try that. Yeah, you can actually find, so I'm answering too many questions at once. GitHub.com. Go to my So this answers that question. So DAMKY is asking about how do I have a blog or a GitHub link on how I integrated Star Wars with Airtable. So I'm going to share that now. I'm just sharing the GitHub repo. This is the actual source code for the project. So hopefully that's better than a blog post because you can actually see it working. Hopefully that answers your question. So let's see. How do I get that comment? This is okay. Alex, I'm going to try and enable your skill here, but they're being difficult with the link copying. Okay, let me do this. Alexa, open Screensaver.
Here are some of your photos. By the way, you can ask me to share a photo with your Alexa contacts.
That's not what I asked for.
Just say share this photo.
What? Alexa, open Screensaver.
Here are some of your photos.
That's not what I'm asking you for. So maybe that's doing exactly what you thought it would do, but I can't seem to get that working. Alexa, stop. Hey, Karthik, good to see you, man. Yeah, the thing is, Gold Zulu, I don't really collect hats, but I do wear a lot of hats. In a previous life, I played a lot of golf. And, you know, we're talking a couple times a week. And you need hats to play golf, just to protect yourself from the sun or whatever. So I have a good number of hats. In fact, I have a couple. Let's see if I can pull out some of the interesting ones. I think this is... I'm running out of hook space, that's for sure. So I have this one. I don't wear this one, but Amazon Alexa. Maybe if it focuses. There we go. This is not a very nice hat. This is a pretty cheap hat, but it's an Alexa hat. I like this one. This is from last year's Alexa Live. So there you go. Oh, Oxygen Box, you're not wrong. It's also a metaphor. I wear a lot of hats here at Amazon, but I like it that way. I like to be involved in a lot of different things. Also, I got this one. This is a hat they gave to a bunch of people that work at the Columbus Distribution Center, which is called CMH1. And it's an Amazon Tech Ops hat. Anyway, I think this one's kind of cool. I haven't really worn this much, but it's a cool looking hat. I like the colors. Anyway, if we're going to be sharing stuff, yeah, Alex, shoot me an email, man. Let's look into that. I'll see what I can do to escalate that. Or if you haven't opened a contact us request with that, that's another option. So again, I don't really collect caps, but I do have. I guess I collect a couple of them. Like when one of my professional sports teams wins a championship or something, I'll buy a hat for that. But in general, I just like having a variety of hats to be able to wear. And they were taking up room in my closet, so they kind of moved in here. No, that is not the new swag. I don't know anything about any swag, unfortunately. So, but I will show you guys something cool. If you guys didn't know, there were some new devices released last week. Did anybody get any of the new Echo devices? If you guys didn't know, there were new Echo Show 5 and Echo Show 8 devices released. And this is the new Echo Show 5. You can see it's small. I have a base on it too, so it doesn't come with this base. This is extra. But this is the new Echo Show 5. Can you guys tell what's different about it just by looking at it? Anybody notice the one obvious difference? Anyway, I'll let you guys think about that one for a second. But this is just your standard white. Yeah, Oxygen Box nailed it. And Alex, the camera is square. If you look at one of the old ones, here, I'll unplug this one. Maybe. This is Dusty. This is an Echo Show 5, like the original Echo Show 5, right? So let me cover my face. It'll focus in. You can see it's a round camera. What they did with this one, as you can see, it's square. This is the new one. But what the big change in this device is that it is a much higher resolution camera that's more wide angle, which allows you to get a lot of the effects that you see with the Echo Show 10 with the floating screen. So now if you have this in a place and you move, the camera can actually pan and follow you. Now the camera itself doesn't move, but what it's doing is it's using its wide angle lens to be able to track you across that entire visual field. Otherwise, it's kind of zoomed in on a portion of it. So you need a wider window for the camera in order to be able to pull that off. So that is why you see a square camera on this. So I need to set these up yet. I haven't even plugged them in yet. Plug this guy back in. And you'll see a very similar feature on the Echo Show 8. This is the new Echo Show 8, and you can see, again, very wide area for that camera. So this is the new Echo Show 8 that has that same kind of feature. The Smart Motion extension, are you talking about where it can actually follow the user with the camera? Yes, it's virtual. It's not physical. But yes, that is something that you can do with that new device. The last thing I want to show you. Oh my goodness, it's loud. This is going to be loud. Sorry. Maybe. Was this one. This is another Echo Show 5, but this is the kids edition. It's meant to look like lizard skin kind of on the back. It only comes in black, and it comes with a white cable, which I thought was weird. But these are the new Echo Show Kids 5, and again, it has that same wide-angle lens. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same device. But I like to have a device lab. That's another thing that I want to do in restructuring this shelving. As you can see that over there, I have these blacklight figures. I'll find another place for these, but I want to take this shelf and run it all the way across and behind here. And that's going to become my new device lab. So I have like individual devices just sitting next to each other rather than this kind of like crazy pile on top that I have right now. So lots of rethinking the studio. But I just wanted to show you guys some new cool devices. Prime Day is coming. If you guys didn't know, oh, gosh, I have so much stuff to talk to you about. Prime Day is coming. I think it's Amazon, next week. I just saw that the Echo Auto device was on sale yesterday as part of Prime Day. June 21st and 22nd is Prime Day, but they already have good deals on Alexa devices, including the Echo Auto. Is it still, if you're a Prime member?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, if you're a Prime member, they have the Echo Auto for $15. It's normally $50. So would highly recommend picking up an Echo Auto. It's game changing to be able to have it just work in the car. I absolutely love that. They also have, if you guys haven't seen the Luna controller, Luna is pretty sweet. It's basically a cloud-based controller that allows you to stream games to your house. So you don't need a console or anything. It's pretty cool. They have the Echo Show 5. This is the first gen one, but they have the Echo Show 5 for $60 for Prime members. If you like that Halo band, they have that. They have the round ball Echo, this guy. They have that for $75. These are all US dollars, obviously. So I don't know what your prices will be where you are. They have $75 off of the Echo frames, the second gen version of those. Also, I finally got to use my new second gen Echo Buds on this trip I took to Seattle last week, and they're phenomenal. But they have those on sale for $40 off. Do I have them in here? I don't even know where I put them. The new Echo Buds are legitness. I really enjoyed using those. And they lasted me the entire trip to Seattle. So very good headphones and pretty affordable. Okay, let's see. So Stephen Brown is asking about using a skill without requiring it to be enabled first. And yes, you can do that, but it's a far more challenging problem. So if you have a skill with a very unique name, like I have one called the Unofficial Star Wars Databank, there aren't other skills that are really called that. So if you just say open Unofficial Star Wars Databank, you'll get to my skill even if you haven't enabled it, and it will auto-enable it for you. The problem you run into is when there are multiple choices, or if you have 10 skills called cat facts and you say open cat facts. If you haven't enabled one, it doesn't really know which one to choose, and so it'll often recommend some for you instead. But yeah, that's the real challenge there is what is happening to Echo TV Alexa skills being second-class citizens and sometimes disappearing? I don't know. Honestly, like that is the one piece of the Amazon world that I actually don't use very much. So we came up. I cut the cord for any kind of cable TV in my house in 2011. Wrote a long blog post on it and how we decided and what we decided and whatever. And we went with Roku devices at the time because I liked the interface the best. And then the Fire TV came out, and then they added Alexa to it. And I have many. I probably have 7 different Fire TV devices, including the I have the Fire TV Cube is actually one of the devices sitting here. But anyway, I don't like the interface as much. The thing that I like about Roku is that it's just a screen of apps, right? I can come in, I can click on the app I want, and I go. The Fire TV plugs me too directly into the Amazon world, and so it's showing me movies and videos and stuff all from Prime or from Amazon Video, which is great. But what I want is my apps. I just want the channels and the apps that I've created, and you have to dig a little bit to get to those every single time. And so that's been something that it just doesn't work for me. So like I said, I have a Fire TV stick hooked up to my television, but we just never use it, unfortunately. I think it's a very good device and it works phenomenally, but when I compare it to the other device that I have in my house, I much prefer Roku, honestly. I know there are probably people inside Amazon that don't love that I say things like that, but it's my personal preference. I think for a lot of people, they love the Fire TV devices and they're very, very good. But anyway, Fabio wishes the Echo Show had a battery. I don't know how long it would last on a battery, especially with the display. But very interesting concept. I think they'd probably have to be significantly bigger. I have seen, though, Fabio, that people make aftermarket devices that are cases, basically, that perfectly wrap around an Echo device that provide battery power. I saw that early on with the Echo Dot, where people wanted to be able to take their Dot around with them. And so it was basically a battery pack, and the Dot would kind of snap into the top, and they would have plugs to plug into it, and then you had a battery that way. But I haven't seen that for any of the Echo shows. And in fact, one of the other things that really bugs me is that I like to travel with devices, right? Like I'll take an Echo Show 8 on a vacation or something like that. And so I wish that there was a case that I could buy that would fit this and hold it and protect it well. Now there are cases it'll fit in, but I want one that's kind of customized to it. And they made a lot of them for the Echo Dot. They made a lot of them for the Amazon Tap when that one came out, and even for the Echo, the original like cylinder Echo. But I haven't seen one recently. So I need to look again. Okay, so Alex, if you're still on, Fernando Schaub on YouTube has a question. He says he's using the Alexa paginated list and would like to know how to handle paging. For example, how do I start on the 3rd page or a specific page? I don't know the answer to that question, like how to define a starting page on that. That's not something I know off the top of my head. But Alex is generally our resident APL expert, and I wonder if he knows the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know the answer. I'm sorry. How are we only 30 minutes in? I feel like we've been talking for an hour already. This is great. I'm going to park it. We're going to sit down a little bit. Alex, okay, so Fernando on YouTube, Alex says that the APL pageant, the pager has an initial page property that you can set. And so that initial page property, that's kind of where I was thinking we were going to go. But that initial page property allows you to say start on page 3 or 5 or whatever. So hopefully that answers your question. For those of you that tuned in last week, you know I was in Seattle last week. That was super fun. Got to meet a bunch of my teammates that I'd never even met before because of this silly pandemic we've been in. But I am. It was really nice to catch up with folks and see what they're working on and talk to them in person. Because that's just not something I get to do a lot these days. It's a lot of video calls and stuff. Oh, another thing I should mention that this morning, if you guys didn't know, and I've mentioned this in Slack and a few other places. Let me take a step back. First, I just mentioned Slack. If you guys aren't already in our Slack, we have a Slack channel. You can go to alexa.design/Slack, and there you will find. I haven't announced this there yet, but yesterday we crossed the 1,000 member barrier. So we now have over 1,000 people participating and having conversations about Alexa and design and development and voice and machine learning and just all the sorts of awesome stuff. And you can join them there by just heading over to alexa.design/Slack. So if you haven't done that already, do it. 1,000 people already beat you to it. Speaking of 1,000 people beating you to it, you should also be heading over to register for Alexa Live today. I'm going to find you a link here shortly. See if I can do that easily. If I go find the link that I shared earlier, is this right here. Control copy. I'll throw this right in the chat. But if you guys aren't registered for Alexa Live yet, you don't want to miss out. I can't recommend registering early enough. It looks like it didn't make that clickable. Sorry. You can copy that URL and it will work. Missed a couple of comments here, but get registered for Alexa Live. It doesn't cost anything. It reserves your spot and make sure that you will be able to see all of the content, the keynote, all of the sessions, all of the cool stuff that's happening at Alexa Live on July 21st. So Prime Day is...
Okay, here's National Calendar.
Alexa.
On the calendar for...
Stop. On June 21st is Amazon Prime Day. And on July 21st is Alexa Live. So keep those days reserved. And if you register for it, it'll make it very, very easy to do it. Are there any sneak peeks for Alexa Live? The only thing that I've been given permission to reveal, and you guys are getting a super exclusive here. The only thing I can reveal is that my face will be the first face you see. I snuck my way. I convinced a whole bunch of people somehow. Mind-altering drugs probably were involved, but I found a way to convince people that I should be a part of the keynote. And so, as a part of that, I will be in the keynote. So you guys will see me there. I happen to be the first person you get to see, and I kind of play the role of MC throughout the day. So I'm really looking forward to that. As far as content goes, I don't have anything to share. Lots and lots of cool things coming. Really, really looking forward to all of these announcements coming out, but I do not have any kind of leaks for you. You guys know me better than that. I really like my job, and the leaks would cause me to not have a job. So I'm gonna stick with having a job. I like that better. Let's see, Stephen Brown, I may have actually written that blog post. Let's see. I go look at a blog, and there's a way to search this, right? Search. Maybe. Why do I feel like there should be a way to search this blog, and there just isn't? Okay, well, let's see if we do. I gotta get these devices off my desk. It's taking up all my room. I'm looking for a blog post that I wrote. Okay. 7 years later. So I wrote this in 2018. Do I talk about? I do. Okay, yeah, so I guess I did this. Let's drop this in the chat as well. So Stephen Brown, coming your way is a link that is my write-up. Now, I wrote this 3 years ago, but I think it's probably still pretty accurate. Yeah, I talk about the Roku, the Apple TV, the Amazon Fire TV Cube, why I like each of them, but also like the channels that we were subscribed to. That's all changed a bit. And there's also a link to my original article if you'd like to read that about how we decided to make things work. My dog is just going to keep barking, so apologize for that until someone answers that door. Okay, so I want to see what Fabio's saying here. Fabio, tell me, I want to track words that there isn't in my slot. I wrote a command, slot value, and I need to catch this word. So Fabio, one of the ways that I'm actually doing that, I can share my screen again, we'll get Crackle Voice, is I have a trivia game that I've worked on. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know I've been working on this TKO trivia game that I'll never actually finish. But I'll show you here with some crackly voice what this looks like. Share screen. Okay, so if I come here, one of the things that I want you to see is that I have all sorts of, is the right place? This feels like it's not the right place. TK, no, this should be it. User. Okay, so I have these category and question instances. So what I do here, I want you to just imagine a simple trivia game, right? Where I ask a question like, we'll find one here. The question was, what 1962 book by Anthony Burgess later became a Stanley Kubrick film by the same name? So that's the question. And then you can see here that I have A Clockwork Orange is the right answer. But what I can see here is that somebody said refund literature. Well, that's not the right answer. So what I did is I grabbed that value and I stored it in my database. And what this allows me to do then is that I can filter this down. So if I really wanted to find a specific wrong answer, I think I even, let's see, I have, let's see how many, let's sort this by asked count. Keep sorted. So I'm going to go up to the top of this page. This is one of the reasons I love Airtable, is it becomes my reporting too. So you can see here that I've asked this question 7 times and people have gotten it right 5 times. This lets me keep track of like how well questions are working or how poorly they're working. And so if we look at this one, I must have some columns I'm hiding. Yeah, 3 hidden fields. We can look at question instance, which is here. And I can see all of the individual question instances. So I can click on this and be like, oh, okay, this person said Peter Parker, right? So is that how that would work? Yeah, I think so. And then if I say this one, they said Miles Morales, also a correct answer. This one, Peter Parker. But I'm looking at each individual answer, basically. Or I could filter this down. So I can also just come over, take this question ID, which is this one, over to question instance, down to just be where question is this. And it just shows me the answers. And so now I can see these are the 7 times that this question's been asked. And this person said Otto Octavius. This person said Mary Jane. I could filter this down further to only see where is correct is false. And now I can just see the wrong answers. So there's a couple of options that you can do with this. The first is you could manually go in and say, let's say Otto Octavius is actually the right answer. Well, in my question, one of the things that I have in here is synonyms. And this is all created with dynamic entities, but I could just come in here, add a new item in my comma, the limited list, and oh, I actually did have it right there. And so I can add that as a potential synonym. But what I have here, and this is just a lookup from those other pieces of data, is I can see what the wrong answers are. So I can quickly say like, oh, they said Mrs. Banks, Willow, Track. Like I can go through these and see what the wrong answers are. And so it's a very easy visual way for me to say, well, like in what industry did Andrew Carnegie make all of his money? Well, the answer is steel, but someone said steel industry. So what I should do is add this as a synonym, and now this will be included as a synonym every time that I go. So I haven't been seeing what you're writing, but that is how I solve that problem. is by recording all that stuff in Airtable. So hopefully that helps. I don't know if that actually solves your problem, but instead of doing it in your CloudWatch logs, what I would recommend is just have it log it out to a database for you, and then you can do all sorts of analytics and data, and you could even potentially insert those things as new synonyms as you go, right? So all very, very cool things, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. Are there any great apps for the over 65 demographic? The number one, honestly, like I think the over 65 demographic is the largest demographic to watch TV shows like Jeopardy. I would recommend the Jeopardy skill number one. One of the cool reasons for that is because when you watch Jeopardy on TV, there are the 6 categories that they do each round. And Jeopardy has been smart enough to say that well, first of all, there's a technical thing you need to know as they create the show Jeopardy. There are 6 categories across, and I think there's 5 answers down as you play the game on TV. But they write additional answers in the chance that as they're producing the show, somebody in the audience yells out an answer, or maybe one of the guests answers the question even though they weren't supposed to. They can swap that question out, re-record it, and pretend as if that never happened. So you never see that live on television, but it happens sometimes. But so they write these extra questions for every single episode. And so what they decided to do was create an Alexa game that allows you to play those questions, those additional questions. What's neat about it is that every day you get the questions that match up with the show for that night. So you'll get your 6 questions, but you'll get them from the same 6 categories that the show will have. And I just think that's a super cool little kind of corollary for Jeopardy. I think that's kind of fun. So as far as things for people over 65, I don't know that there's anything that is specifically for people over 65, but there are lots of fun trivia kind of interactivity games that are based on old content. So if you think about some of the TV shows and things that people that are 65 plus grew up with, I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke Show, there are things that kind of cater to that. Think about like older style games and stuff, but hopefully that will help. We're getting some good questions here now. Little Defeat says, I published a skill that uses some of the new motion features and was wondering if you could try it out on your Echo Show 10 as a smart motion simulator does not show the choreographies. It's called My Edition Game. After the user gets all the questions of a set right, Echo Show 10 should do a happy dance. Yes, if I have time at the end of this, Little Defeat, I will totally do that. Yes, I will definitely do that. I have a couple of other questions here I want to make sure I get to, though. Can you somehow add synonyms automatically? For instance, find the Levenstein distance between the correct answer and the current answer, and then if the distance is small enough, add the synonym. Yes, you would need to do all the calculations for the Levenstein distance, but yes, you could totally do that. So what you're looking for is a term called dynamic entities, and that is exactly how my trivia game works. I have a question that I ask you, and at the time that I do that, I replace all of the contents of my answer slot with only the right answer and its synonyms. So there aren't any other answers. I don't have like a big unwieldy answer slot that has the answers to all of the questions. What I do is I ask you the question, I submit a dialogue directive that replaces all of the values in my answer slot with only the right answer to the question. Now the user never gets to see any of that, but what that then allows me to do is say, if they match the value that's in my slot, of which there's only one, then I know they got the answer right. And if they match anything, if they get anything else, I have a search query slot that I use instead that catches the answer and records that for me and says, oh, this is what they said. And then I record that as a wrong answer. So at that point, you could make that determination that like, oh, this isn't a close enough match. I'm just going to mark this as a wrong answer. But you could also say, oh, this is a really close Levenstein distance. So in fact, what I'm going to do is update my synonyms. Very, very doable. I haven't gotten into that kind of science yet, but it would be very doable. For those of you that don't know, Levenstein distance is the audible distance between 2 words. And so there are ways to measure this either via spelling or via sound to be able to say that these words are very similar. Even though they might be pronounced very differently, there are ways to kind of measure that, and that's referred to as the Levenstein distance. So Dylan, great question. Yes, you should totally be able to do that using dynamic entities. So that's about updating the slot. That's the values and the synonyms. Yeah, that should be pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. The Triad says, I cannot see the picture of cake time skills on the simulator and the Echo Show. You might need to scroll down. The display for the APL is below the 2 JSON boxes. So you just might need to scroll down, but cake time should show those images on the simulator, just like any other APL skill. So hopefully that will help. A. Witters makes a good point. If you go to the Slack that I mentioned earlier, we can promote that again. But if you go to this Slack, there is a channel called Beta Testers Wanted, and it's a great place to get a bunch of people that have devices in different locales, all sorts of stuff, to try out your skills. I would highly recommend dropping your mention there. I know that we're talking to Little Defeat about that, but anybody that's working on a skill, if you want beta testers, that's the place to do it. Okay, let's see. My Edition game. Let's give that a try. Alexa, open My Edition game.
Okay, here's Edition game. Edition game, please say question.
Alexa,
Edition game, please say question.
Alexa, stop. I don't know if that one's yours. They said Edition game, not My Edition game. Let's go look at some skills. My Edition game. Okay, My Edition game. I see that here. Ace Don Adriatico. Your name here is Little Defeat, but I think that's probably you. I don't see another one called that. We'll enable it. Alexa, open My Edition game.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Please try it in a little while.
Well, that's interesting. Alexa, open My Edition game.
Sorry, I'm having trouble. Please try it in a little while.
Alexa, play My Edition game.
Handing off to My Edition game by Ace Don Adriatico.
Okay.
What is 9 plus 7?
16.
What is 1 plus 2?
3.
What is 1 plus 2?
3.
What is 6 plus 1?
7.
What is 6 plus 2?
8.
What is 9 plus 2?
11.
What is 1 plus 1?
2.
What is 52 plus 76?
Well, it did the animation, so that was super cool. I have a very crowded desk, so it ran into something. But your animations or your choreographies worked very cool. Yeah, I'm crushing those math problems. And it wanted me to do 52 plus 76. That's 128, in case you're wondering. I'm not a math genius, but I am pretty good at addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, that kind of stuff. Okay. Stephen Brown, what is going to happen to skills that still use the display interface after the drop date that's approaching? Will they just stop working altogether? Is it going to take me some time to convert? I'm trying to track this answer down myself because I have several skills that are in this same situation, and I can't get a clear answer. I haven't gotten any answer yet, but I'm digging into talking to people internally about what actually happens here, and I haven't been able to get an answer. So as soon as I know, you'll know. I'll talk about it next office hours or whatever, but yeah, here's my guess. They're just going to stop showing the display interface, so you just won't have a visual. That would be my guess. But I'm not sure. There's no backup to that. But I can't imagine we would create a situation in which your skill would just stop working or be unpublished or something like that. So I will look into it. Okay. All right, I think I'm caught up on questions. God, I need to clean this office. There's just so much stuff here. This is the This is the new broadcast monitor that I bought to go inside my teleprompter. That's pretty cool. Like, why do I have this? Like, let's throw it away. I just have boxes and boxes and boxes of tech sitting here, just wires and all sorts of stuff. Oh, let's see. A Witter says that there's a thread on it, but I feel like I didn't come up with a solid answer. Did someone answer it? Okay, so Arnjit Singh, who is more or less responsible for all of the APL, says no skills will not be removed. We're working to create fallback experience so they won't look exactly the same as current display templates. Alexa will still try its best to render display templates, but we don't recommend relying on that because we expect many skills to break with their fallback experience. So it's possible that your visuals just won't look right, but they're not going to be removing skills. So keep that in mind. I'm probably just going to write it out, honestly, because I don't even know where the source code is for my original skills. Yeah. Okay, so someone just asked, did I bring any devices or new gadgets from Seattle? I did, actually. Let's see if I can grab one. I got, oh, actually, you know what was really kind of cool is I got a whole pile. I'm going to have to figure out what to do with these. We had lots and lots of stickers left in the office, and so I took some of them since I'm really the only person that hands out stickers anymore. But like I have these cool AWS Ninjas. See him, maybe. AWS Ninja guy, Cloud Ninja stickers. This AWS robot. He's probably going to go on my laptop. Lots of these. They say that they're a cloud, and they say I got skills on them. What else do I have? These are supposed to look like a mouth with a blue tongue. Say, talk to me. I have a bunch of those. I also have smaller versions that's like a red mouth that says talk to me. Same idea. And then there's let's build and talk to me like rectangles. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. Oh, don't think for a moment, Alex, that I'm not saving some ninja stickers for you. I don't know anything about when the AWS developer lofts will open, but I hope they do because I liked going to those when I was in a city that had one. So I hope they open soon. They're a fantastic place to network and meet up with people and learn new stuff. All right, we're at 53. I think that's all I've got for stickers. I also had, this is an AWS Hacker Sticker. It's supposed to look like the periodic table of elements. And this is an AWS Lambda Sticker. This will have to go on my laptop. I only have one of them. But yeah, those are the stickers I brought back. I don't have a whole lot else. There weren't any like new devices or anything like that. I did pick up some t-shirts. I also had, there were some black and blue plaid flannel shirts that had like the Alexa smile right here. I'm not a flannel wearer much, but I have a couple of those now. Yeah, nothing too terribly exciting on this trip. But, you know, every once in a while I come back from Seattle and I've got all sorts of new stuff. But I did come home to all of these new devices, right? The new Echo Show devices launched while I was there. So I did end up with 3 new devices here. I just have to find a place for them all. I love having a cool library of devices to test on and give things a run, because you guys ask me all the time, hey, can you try this thing on your device? I want to see how it works. It's nice to be able to have all of those available. So Okay, I think I've gotten all the questions. I think. So with that, I would always recommend let's continue the conversation. For those of you that are here on office hours, jump over to Slack. Continue the conversation there. We can talk about whatever you'd like over there. And for the most part, the audience there, the people that are there in the Slack, are incredibly helpful and supportive and friendly. Can't recommend it enough for you guys to get involved and talk to people there. It's good networking opportunities. It's a great way to get people to try your skills, and it's a great way to share knowledge. So if when you know something, help people. When people know stuff that you don't know, they'll help you. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to hang out. I have it open all day, every day, and I can't always get in there, but I like to as much as I can. Okay, I think. Oh yeah, I was there for Blue Origin training. I will tell you, I have a really cool story about Blue Origin. So there was an event 2 years ago called Amazon Remars, and I got to be responsible for all of the content that happened at Remars. So all the breakout sessions, all the there was a bunch of like workshops, and I somehow ended up being responsible for all of that. And so as part of that, I was one of the people in charge of the whole event, and got to meet a few of the celebrities that were there. Right, we had Robert Downey Jr. do a keynote. Got to meet Mr. Downey and shake his hand and chat with him for a minute. But I had the good fortune of getting to spend almost half a day with Adam Savage from the Mythbusters. We had some breaks in between things, and I was his guide to get to his room and make sure everything was good and ready for his presentation. And during his break, we had scheduled him an opportunity to go check out the Blue Origin space capsule, like the tourist vehicle that you ride in to go up into space. We had one there on site. And so I got to sit and get a full like overarching tour of the entire Blue Origin space capsule from the president of Blue Origin, because he was there to show it to Adam Savage. But he's like, no, man, come on in. I'll give you the thing too, because there's 6 seats inside one of them. And so I got to sit and go to space because they had virtual screens on the whole thing. I got to go to space with Adam Savage inside a Blue Origin space capsule. It was pretty awesome. So that's one of my favorite stories, because Adam is one of the most down-to-earth, cool people I've ever met. I mean, obviously he's super smart and really understands how to build things for movies and stuff like that, special effects, robots, all that. It was I've been a big fan of his for a long time, but to get to spend a few hours with him and go to space with him, and we got to play VR together. We had our VR headsets there, so it was all of that was super cool too. One of my favorite stories, certainly, of my time here at Amazon was that day. So Treylas wants to know if I'll be on New Shepard. I will not. Although I thought he was just going to take people named Jeff B. It turns out that's not how it's going to work. So I guess I'll have to take the second ride or something like that. Data Trial wants to be able to test skills working only for NUS. Yes, you can register your physical device, but what you need to do is create a separate Amazon.com account, and then you set up the device with that US account instead. And then, yeah, you can register your device. It'll work just fine in India. It's just you need to make sure that you're set up on an actual US account. So that would be my recommendation. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it for today. Thank you guys all so much for being here. It's always my pleasure to get to chat with you and share my knowledge and learn from all of you. The list of information that I have about what you want and how you want to see things work and why things are confusing, all of this is super valuable to me and my team. So can't recommend participating in this enough. Your feedback goes a long way, and I really want you to know that. So thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll be here again next week. And also don't forget, there's an episode of Alexa and Friends on Thursday. So we'll be here again on Thursday, same bat channel, same bat time. All right, we'll see you then.